Welcome, welcome, welcome. Thank you so much for coming. October was a super busy month for everybody at Stetson, for both students and faculty, so we are downtrodden. And therefore, I especially appreciate that you came here today. So before we commence our gallery talk, I would like to take a moment to do the acknowledgements and to express our gratitude. So I want to extend my appreciation to Dr. Natalia da Silva, the director of the Hand Art Center, and the entire Hand Art Center staff. So your support and commitment to the Vera Bluemner Kouba Collection and to this exhibition project has been indispensable. I would also like to acknowledge the work of Grant Wolf, whose framing and photography skills have highlighted the displayed works. Additionally, a big thank you to Amarish Champion for her meticulous work in cutting those wall labels. Honey, it looks great because of you too. It was a pure joy to work with Dominic Addonizio, who directed a documentary short on Mario artistic process on display. Well, not now, so, you know. And I would like to express a special note of gratitude to Rick de Jampert for his insightful review of the exhibition published at Stetson today. We appreciate his thoughtful perspective and attention to detail. I cannot overlook the contributions of our graphic and promo designer who opted for anonymity, yet he deserves recognition for his significant work on creating all exhibition promotions. And now let me introduce our team, because in many ways this was a truly collaborative project. So let me start with my star, Lily Paternoster, who is a recent art history graduate, a talented curator on her own, who served as an exhibition manager. Managing a living artist is a huge undertaking and a bit of a nightmare. So I'm grateful that Lily ruled this project with her iron fist, exactly as it should have been. And of course, our artist, Mario Saponaro, who is both talented, as you can see, and also extremely hardworking, a rare and lethal combination indeed. And of course, thank you to our viewers. So, applaudissements for now, and then we'll start. Applaudissements. So, first I will introduce Vera Bluemner Kouba Collection, and then Mario will talk about his artistic project, and then we will have time for questions. Okay, so Vera Kouba Bluemner donated the collection of her father's work, Oscar Bluemner, to Stetson in 1997. By doing so, she effectively rejected an offer from an art dealer who wanted to buy her collection for several $million. And she did that because she wanted the legacy of her father to be in good hands. So in that sense, Stetson has an immense responsibility to that collection. I always say everything on campus depreciates except for this collection. Actually, then it was first evaluated, it was about $2.5 million, according to the Christie's. So recently, several works from this collection were on loan, and the estimate value of only 8 works was over $3 million. So I'm just saying, right, this is a very valuable collection, and again, we have to be good shepherds of that collection. Mario, about this idea for an exhibition to actually showcase Bluemner's artistic process with Mario's artistic process. If you think about it, it's actually a show of vulnerability to demonstrate somebody's artistic process. American artist Jasper Johns famously destroyed all his works, right? Once he came up to his signature style. Why? Because he did not want his works to be dissected. So people like me would be looking for influences, you know, nitpicking, trying to make connections, right? So he came as just a ready package out of nowhere, right? So showing a process, again, is a tricky thing, right? Because you see things that are not finished, you see things that, you know, maybe not polished and so forth. But in our case, Oscar Bluemner took a great pride in his process. And this is exactly what I'm trying to showcase here, where you can see, for example, on this wall, where you can see his color sketches compared to black and white sketches. And if you look closely, you see his meticulous notes that he left on those sketches, you know, trying to figure out what colors he would use and so forth. And on that wall, you also see like different types of sketches that he left. So we see more naturalistic architectural sketches, we see more expressive color sketches, and we see this black and white sketch where he actually worked on the issue of form, right? Bluemner was obsessed with color, but he also, you know, he thought that it was important, like on a stage 4 of his process, to actually reject color and then return to something that is black and white and actually focus on form, right? So we see this diversity of artistic output, and my choice of Mario was not haphazard, because anybody who actually worked with him knows that this is what he does, right? He sketches, he sketches, he sketches. And, you know, well, it's a leap of faith. Then you work with someone, right? Because, okay, so we say, okay, we meet, we talked last time in May, and we say we meet in August, and you have to bring your work, right? I mean, it's a huge leap of faith, because what happens, you know, it's August and there is nothing done. Of course, that's not about Mario, right? Because Mario, he's not just working on one series, right? He has like simultaneously multiple projects.
It was my senior year, second semester, and Katya comes up to me and approaches me with this idea, obviously, as she said. And of course I'm going to say yes, obviously. Except I had nothing to give. I had absolutely nothing, and it was a little bit tough, because normally I have an idea of where to start at least. Like maybe I'll have an idea like, blue, and then we'll work from there. But I absolutely had nothing, and we had to work from the bottom all the way to the top. At the same time, I was also working on a different project, so a series about the mind and the mentals of around it. And it started off with these. So long ago, I was in a different house from when this started, and I was just drawing the objects in my house, the things that I connected with, the things I felt were kind of like analogous to myself in a way. So it's a little bit pandery the way I wrote it in my notebook and on the wall now, but it's a little bit true. Each one of these things has like a story to it in my life, you know. Some are less important than others, but still meaningful. So like the egg, not my egg, but it was an egg carton in a fridge that may or may not have possibly been in there for a year. So I take one out and I put it in a little glass to see if it's rotten. Duh, it's rotten. I'm not going to eat it. The hat is my grandma's. Doesn't fit me perfectly. I got a big old noggin, but I still use it a lot, and it helps to block out the sun. This chess piece, very old set. Used to play as guy. I suck at chess though. We used to play. I lose. I'm more of a checkers kind of guy. Real simple like. I can do that. And then this is exactly as I said it was. non-pandery whatsoever. It is trash. It was literally, I don't even know what was on it. It's just a piece of paper that I happened to decide to draw. So how does that relate to what we're doing here? I will answer that question. Thank you. The egg is a metaphor. It is a metaphor for, I guess, transformation, but more so lack thereof. Like, the egg is rotten, and I can't eat it. It doesn't become my breakfast, but it also doesn't turn into a chicken at the end of the day. So it is what it is. It didn't change, and for a long time, I feel that I am that way. Like, I am not what I want or am expected to be in a kind of way. Like, I am the egg that just doesn't change. It's been a constant theme, like, why can't I change? Why can't I do better? I don't know. I'm just floating in the water, you know? So, a little more happy. The hat is, it's old, but it's a reminder of what was, right? I sometimes get bogged down in the minutiae of, oh my goodness, this happened to me 2 days ago and I didn't like it that much. I might have said something weird. Who knows? But it's kind of like I wrote don the crown of what and become what was. So like, live up to your own expectations. Be the person that you think you can be and become what you can. The piece of paper is that. I think about death and life probably too much, and I think about my own death and life probably too much. Like, I have long-term, future ideas for what my death might look like. Like, real weird, but I have these ideas of what I could say with my own death, or what my life would mean. And I guess the root issue is I don't want my life to be like that scrap of paper that I just picked up and threw out. I have no idea what's on it. As soon as I did it, I threw it away without a second thought. I don't want that for me. And finally, we have the chess piece. That is kind of like the next step of, I don't want my life to be something not that, I guess, in my head, I don't know. But I have these dreams and ideas, and I got these big places that I want to go. I want to be famous. I want to make a lot of money, yeah. But the truth is, I don't know. I don't know. How can you see yourself in 5 years? I can't. I take it one day at a time. I make one story after the other. It's a continuous process. So I worry and I worry and I worry that I'm not going to be able to achieve what I want. And I'm willing to do the hard work, but it's that little uncertainty that cracks the code, right? And from these objects came the little creatures, and then the final works, and everything else, probably 6 months to close to a year later. So if we learned anything here today, is that failure is okay. It's perfectly fine. Failure breeds success. If I hadn't thrown these, I didn't throw them away. If I hadn't thrown the idea away, they could have never turned into something that I am proud of and that I am so happy to be here today talking to you guys about. So it's okay to fail. It's okay to draw and throw things away. And that's just part of the process. So here we go. Let's talk about the process. This is what we came here for. It's the title of the show. No, it's not. Ooh. So we start off, obviously, with the brainstorming. I kind of went over that, just ideas. And then we go into the sketches. I've started to go over this as well. It all starts from the sketches. And then if you've seen the documentary or whatever, there's actually tons more kind of like this type of stuff. Real small, even smaller than this. It's kind of like a quarter of the size. Just, I think for this series, it's around like 3 or 5 little different sets of varying ways of putting things and changing the composition and maybe changing the characters. So it's just tons and tons of that. It doesn't necessarily take a long time, but the process of thinking about it and creating is kind of what takes the majority of the time. It's like if we mathed it out, I would actually be spending probably 85% of the time doing the little stuff so that I don't have to worry about messing up something on here or I don't like it or whatever. I have like chung, 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 all the way down to the little nitty gritty. And then after the sketches, revisions, revisions, revisions. And then we go into mock-ups / color studies. We get to figure out what type of colors we want to use, how it's going to look in the end, what kind of depth we're going to even, I've talked with Lusa a lot, actually, about what I would use. Like I say I want to use acrylic. Well, I say I want to have texture. Well, what does that mean, right? Can you use a different sort of substance in order to get this kind of texture that you're looking for? And if not, then what else do you do? So it's kind of like that. I am a little bit hard-headed. I'll be honest, I'm a little hard-headed. When it comes to that type of stuff, if I have an idea, then I get stuck up on it a little bit. It takes a little convincing for me to get out of my ways. But I did manage to experiment a little bit, and here we are today. So as you could tell, the only one that kind of looks the same as the mock-up would be the bunnies. And that usually actually kind of does happen. Like if I'm happy with something, I'm gonna roll with it. I'm just gonna go for it all the way. So I found something that worked. I tried out different options that maybe didn't. And once again, failure is okay. So when we get past this and we get past everything else, we finally get to the bread and the butter of the exhibition. So as I said, I chung chung chung. I know what I'm doing. Boom, boom, boom. I didn't start painting these until June. I had to get them done by July. So each little small one probably took about a week each over time, like hours, but a week over time. And then the big ones took about 3 days for each. You might be wondering, why? Why, Mario? Well, I told you in the beginning, I'm not that good. I procrastinate. I spend all-nighters. I do things that maybe I shouldn't. I maybe play Xbox a little too much for my own good sometimes, thinking about, what if it doesn't come out as I like it? Well, it did. So there you go, Mario. So I guess we should now talk about the creatures themselves and the themes. I've hinted at it a little bit. We are kind of making an ironic commentary on like life and death and self-fulfilling prophecies type of thing. So I find it funny personally because each of these characters, little goblins, are the opposite of in some way of their object that they are accompanied with. Like the fish with the egg and the water is drowning. That's funny. Cool, Mario. The bunnies, hyperactive bunnies, well, they're sad and they're in the trash and they're not moving. That's funny to me. The hat, Well, that's just normal. I can't even say that's just normal. That's pretty funny. And then also normal, pretty funny. So the story goes as such. No matter which way you read it, it has the same type of connotations. Whether you look at it left from right or right to left, it goes from this more animalistic, barbaric type of energy, with the fish kind of actually being fish, mostly, and then the chameleon and the bunnies, and then eventually the actual 2D people, they come to life, and it's kind of like, where do they all connect? Well, the rooms, it's titled Home Maintenance Mandatory. The rooms are the mind. They're the embodiment of the mind. It's kind of like, a dilapidated type of lonely place, and these creatures inhabit it, you inhabit your own mind, etc., etc. And the light featured in each of them is kind of like there are dark spots and bright spots in life, and there's always a light that's shining, that's showing the good things. It's not all bad. We can't get bogged down in all of this negative stuff that I've been saying. It's not all bad. There's beauty and there's light, and there are very many things good to live for. So that's kind of what it's peering into the darkness and illuminating what is. And where was I? Each of these rooms has another connector, right? So the checkerboard pattern is featured in every single one, specifically where these characters stand or lie or lay in, because I don't like to explain it because I like to make your own narrative, but for me, the people are like the orchestrators of this entire thing. They control the pawns, they move them, they sacrifice, they're playing a game of chess, and one's about to lose, but another one is coming. So it's an ongoing cycle forever and ever and ever. And these pawns are getting sacrificed, and these people, they don't care. Remember how I was saying the chessboard is like related to dreams and aspirations and goals? Well, they're doing that, but at what cost? It's the cost of the creatures, it's the cost of themselves, but they don't care. And yet, even though they do, and they sacrifice all this stuff, they still have a chance to lose. So, they are the orchestrators, and they're in there, and they're doing their thing. And then the bunnies are kind of like that same idea. It's the pawn. It's the hyperactive bunnies. I titled it Trash is Trash is Trash. The bunny holds a note, and another one is closing the blinds. So the bunny is dying. The bunny is going to die, right? The bunny becomes what it thinks it is. The bunny is trash, is in trash, right? So trash is trash is trash. I thought that was pretty clever. The chameleon. Actually, I'll come back to that. We'll skip and we'll go to the fish. The fish is another self-fulfilling prophecy. The fish is pulling itself into the pit of despair, as I like to call it, where it's drowning in its own sorrows, or it's wallowing in its own pain, or whatever may have you. The blinds are closing for each of the fish, and yeah, it's quite simple. Now we go into the chameleon, finally. The chameleon is the only one that's able to leave. It dons the crown of what is before, and it becomes what was. It can change its skin, its color, right, to fit in with other things, to camouflage itself. And it goes outside and it changes to red. And finally, when it comes back in, it can reveal its true colors, that maybe it's not as it says it is, you know? So although he is the only one that can leave, the mind also acts as like that safe place. So the orchestrators themselves can't even leave the things that they are controlling. All right. So, once I finally got these done, it was so thank goodness, because it was done. I could think about other things. I could do lots of things. And then comes install, where we get to finally put it all together. And 3 days in, we finally got it done. It was a beautiful experience. We painted the walls. We designed everything. The anonymous person did a beautiful job hanging and everything. I haven't seen anybody hang something so quickly with no mess-ups. I mess things up in a heartbeat, and I have to do it over again. I don't get it. What did we learn today, guys? Failure is okay. For me. We designed the walls, and we did everything. This was actually a kind of last-minute decision. We thought something needed to be in the middle to kind of tie everything together, because obviously this is Bluemner's wall with his houses that I painted. Not one-to-one, but similar. And then obviously this is my wall. So idea credits go to Lily for the wonderful idea to mesh them two together. And my little creatures are in the Bluemner houses. I thought that was so nice. So we have the chessboard, and we have the hat, and we have the fish. Oh, but we don't have the bunnies. The bunny is over there. Why, Mario? The bunny died. I'm sorry. The bunny died. And it's not here anymore. The blinds are closed. But it's there, and it's watching its own demise. Oh, I thought that was so cool when I did it. I have moments like that where it's kind of like a diamond ringing off in my head. It's like, wow, that's cool. So that's fun. Actually, what else do I have to talk about? Can I look at my notes? Would you guys mind if I looked at my notes real quick? All right. Because I have 4 pages here that I probably didn't get to. Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah. Apologies, everybody. So, I haven't talked about the documentary yet. It's not on, but it's a wonderful thing. Every time I see it, I get a little bit weirded out because my voice, when I hear it, does not sound like I thought it did. I see myself as a little bit more energetic than I hear on the TV. So it was over the span of like 2 months, I think, that we were recording things. And this also happens to be the time that I was milling about the old brain cells, trying to figure out what I was trying to do here. So it was a type of wonderful experience, because I have tried to make YouTube videos in the past, and I've tried to record myself doing all these things, but I just can't do it. It messes with the flow. It messes with my little juju moment. And having somebody else to be there and record me while I do it, and be in the studio with me while I do it is kind of a new experience. Not people watching me per se. I like that. I like attention. But like being there for that specific purpose was kind of interesting. I had to like think a little bit more critically as to what I was doing in the moment, instead of, just kind of what I'm doing right now, just walking around. And then I think finally, we're gonna have to talk about the future, right? Because I think I've talked enough today about what I think and what I don't think and how I might do things that I don't, whatever that means. But does anybody here, do art, paint, draw, etc.? Yeah? Carlos? Grant, I like that. Well, it's a wonderful thing to be able to create stuff like this and have this platform to be able to kind of have a view into myself for other people, I guess, but more so to speak without speaking. It's a little ironic because I've just explained everything, but I encourage you guys to make your own connections, make your own stories, figure out what things mean for you or what your dreams and your aspirations might be, like me. So whether or not you're creating or doing math or art or reading, it's important to enjoy the moment. I think I've learned, enjoy what you're doing, enjoy the process of doing it, enjoy the things that you hate. I know that doesn't sound right, but all of the things that make you you is what you should enjoy, okay? And I've gone on a little bit of self-discovery with this series, and it's eye-opening. I think while I was researching for this previous project on happiness, I came across a video. I forget the guy who said it, but he was talking about things that you could do to make yourself more happy. And he talks about meditation. You sit down and you close your eyes and you breathe in, and you envision a clear house with all of the bad stuff around you, and you say, all right, you got to let yourself feel those emotions. Let yourself be human. It's okay to feel like trash, and it's okay to hide from yourself sometimes. And you breathe in and then you breathe out, and all of it is okay. And you step outside of the house, and for me it's a field with pink flowers in it, and you can see the dark circle in the clear house. Now I don't know whether that subliminally influenced what I was doing here with home maintenance, but I think it is a very good lesson regardless, both for me and for everybody. Gotta let yourself be human, I think sometimes all it takes is just a little home maintenance and you'll be fine. So I believe that is all I have today for me speaking. If you guys have any questions, I do have to thank again Hand Art Center, obviously, and Natalia for letting me hang up and paint dark things on the wall. That's going to be interesting. Paint beautiful, little pretty pictures. I've enjoyed the process. Thank you to Katya for coming to me, trusting me for doing this, finishing it in a month, even though I had 6 to do it. Lily, my girlfriend, and the exhibition manager. It's very true. You got to get things done. I told you I procrastinate, not with Lily. Now we got to get things done. And of course, Mr. Anonymous, very much appreciative of my friends and my family. So, and Lusa too. Yeah, Professor. This is the only reason, actually, why I figured all this out. A lot of ideas actually came from working with Lusa. I know that was painful for you too. Yeah, so I appreciate it. I appreciate everybody. If you guys have any questions. Yes.
It's not a question. I just want to congratulate you because I don't know, you totally impressed me. I'm thinking, because of all these people that I'm sure they are very proud to contribute to your growing, you just, all this process that had to mature. So I feel like you mature a lot in very short time. This is wonderful. This is going to be something that it's gonna be a big use for you in the future, for all your life.
Yes.
That's great.
Thank you.
For this and of course for all the people that help you.
Thank you. Thank you for coming.
Hold up. But you do the same. You prove to be a wonderful student.
Thank you. Oh my God, I'm going to start crying. Yes?
The question. Has seeing your work next to Bluemner's changed your relationship to it at all?
A little bit. I've begun to appreciate more of the shadows than what I did before. I think I was very end-centric rather than like the whole thing. I hope and I hope and I hope that I've done Oscar Bluemner proud by being able to collaborate with him in a way. So yeah, I think yeah. All right, anybody else? I got personal questions too. Yes, Robbie?
What future projects do you have? Have you started? You mentioned that you're thinking of other things.
Oh yeah.
Do you have any more future project blocks?
Well, you don't have to worry about that because production is very important. As an artist, if you have nothing to show, then you can't show it, obviously. So I'm doing more work and more work and more work and more work and more work all the way up until I get, actually, yeah, no, it just doesn't stop. There's no end. It's just more work. That's the best kind of work, the work that you love to do. Yes?
What made you choose the color
I wanted it to be this kind of muddy brownish type of color for the walls and the actual home. And it's a very dark place, so it's kind of like filled with these darker blacks and these, kind of illustrative type of deep shadows. But then this green is like that cool tone that kind of neutralizes it a little bit. It's so bright and it's so poppy, I guess. I don't know if that's the word, that you can't help but look at it. As for the creatures, the type of red is that same type of contrast from both the light and the muddy brown. Wow. Oh my goodness. I just voice cracked twice in a row. Yikes. So yeah, it's like the red is the agitated, and the green is the cool and the calm and the bright, and then the brown is this kind of stagnant mind type of, it's there, it's unmoving, and you can't escape it type of thing. So I guess I could also talk about, more technical stuff. I used acrylic, so thank goodness it's very quick drying. And I can do layer on layer on layer of things to get, I shouldn't touch it, layer on layer on layer to get things that will kind of, if you look real close, you can see whatever this is called. And that kind of gives it this secondary kind of energy. If you look at it from far away, you can still kind of understand it, but when you look up close, it just kind of engulfs your mind, eyes a little bit. So, yeah.
Like visual elements or motifs that you find yourself like painting over and over again, like even unconsciously, like across body of work?
Say Say it again?
Are there like visual ideas you find yourself kind of coming back to over and over again?
Ideas, certainly. I think I have an undying love for death and dying. You know, I talk about it a lot. It's like, it's my greatest fear, clearly. So I kind of confront it where I can't. I literally cannot in my mind. So I paint about it, and it's kind of like my fears are the things that pop up the most. They might vary different things in a way, but it's kind of like that same type of darkness. But I like to have that ironic take on it so that it's not so dark and death and dying, and you know, it can be happy. So yeah, ideas certainly. Characters I like to differ, hopefully.
Thank
All
you
right.
so much for coming.
Yes, thank you guys. Thank you.